Hi, welcome to part 3 of my mini-series all about human design authority. If you missed the first 2 episodes, just a wee refresher to remind you, your authority is part of your body's intuitive language. So it's actually what you should be paying the most attention to when you are going through the decision-making process. So today I'm going to be talking about ego or heart authority, self-projected, mental projected, and lunar authority. So I'm going to start with ego, or otherwise known as heart authority, but before we dive in, there are just a few terms that I'm going to use that I want to explain first. So in human design, one of your energy centers is your ego center. This is sometimes called your will center as well. So ego and will can be used interchangeably when we talk about that energy center. Your ego or your will center is where you bring things into the physical form. It holds the energy for your values, the allocation of resources, and it's actually also the home of your motivation. So there's also another energy center called the G center in your human design chart, and that is also sometimes known as the personality crystal, because it contains the energy of your sense of self and your sense of direction. The G center and the ego center come together to make up your heart chakra. So if you imagine your heart chakra as one unit, and what actually happened as humanity evolved, your heart divided into 2 different energy centers. So that's why sometimes ego authority is also called heart authority, because it's part of what makes up your heart. Most people that have ego or heart authority are manifestors. So it connects the ego center to your throat, which is part of what makes you able to speak things into existence as a manifestor. It's what makes you be able to manifest. Basically, as an ego authority, you get to make decisions based on what you want, what your heart is calling you to move towards or away from is what helps you make decisions. The connection between your throat and your ego center means that to work with your ego authority efficiently, you need to be saying things out loud for you to get really clear on what actually your heart is being drawn to. So you're not talking things out to get advice or feedback from other people. It's literally just a matter of getting out of your body, getting the words out of your body, speaking it, and that helps you gain clarity. So to summarize, as an ego authority, you are designed to be paying attention to what your heart is being called towards or away from, to enable you to make aligned decisions. And you get the most clarity on that when you speak it out loud. You're not trying to intellectualize it. So the next authority we're going to talk about is self-projecteds. Only projectors can be self-projected authority. This authority results from having a direct connection between your G center, which is the personality crystal that I spoke about earlier, and your throat. So, for self-projected authority to gain clarity on their decisions, you need to see your choices through bouncing ideas off other people. The process of speaking out loud allows you to hear yourself, which provides a better overall view, and then you also have the opportunity to see the other people's response. And that process gives you clarity just through the act of sharing your ideas and the choices that you are weighing up. An important thing to note though is that you don't have to agree with those people's opinions. It's the process of hearing your thoughts out loud and seeing the reflected reactions of others that actually helps bring you the clarity that you want. So it's very important to have a solid group of people around you that won't try and push you into agreeing with them or making decisions that they approve of. So the next authority we're going to talk about is mental or environmental authority. So this is another authority that is just for projectors. And similar to self-projected authority, mental projectors actually need to talk to others to get clarity. The main difference between self-projected and mental projected is that it's more of an active conversational process. So whereas in self-projected, simply speaking to someone else and seeing their reaction, getting it out of your head, is how you gain clarity on your choices. As environmental or mental authority, the idea is that you're actually bouncing ideas around with a trusted person, so that helps you get clarity. You can kind of imagine it as if the other person is part of your own inner dialogue, but instead of bouncing the ideas around in your own mind, you're actually doing that with someone else. So as with the ego and self-projected authorities, it is vital to have someone super reliable, someone open and trustworthy that will not try and sway your decision-making process. So the last authority to dive into today is Lunar authority, a special authority reserved especially for our beautiful reflectors. And just as a reminder, reflectors are reflectors because they have no defined energy centers. So their strategy, which is the way that we're designed to attract opportunities and synchronicities, is to wait a full lunar cycle. So like all the authorities we've spoken about today, and unlike sacral, splenic, and emotional authorities, lunar authority does not have to wait a full lunar cycle to make every single tiny decision. Can you imagine if you had to wait for 28 days to make any decisions? That's why getting deeply connected to the language of your body through the other energy centers is almost as important, because those energy centers are going to be speaking to you more about the day-to-day decisions, not just big decisions. They'll give you, they'll give you more clarity in less time. As a lunar authority, again, speaking about your choices is very important. The idea with reflectors is that over the 28 days of the lunar cycle, you have an opportunity to see, by speaking, the potential outcomes of the choices that you're working through. And you'll see the potential outcomes through the lens of each of the 64 human design gates. And that's what's going to help you make the best decision. So that brings us to the end of all 7 of the authorities. So I hope you found it helpful and it's given you some clarity on your unique authority. If you are sacral, splenic, or emotional, there is more detail in another video that you can find on my YouTube channel, or if you're in my mailing list, then you will have access to that through this email. I hope that it's been helpful, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.